So ladies today are embarrassed to have boyfriends. I mean, this is just, you know, this is just more, I don't know if this is more rage bait, clickbait, or what, but they're embarrassed to have boyfriends. And not because they're embarrassed because they don't have a permanent spouse, but they're embarrassed to post them because of other people are jealous. You don't want to be seen as a clingy type of person. So let me play this video here. This guy, this what I'm going to call a beta male here, but you guys can judge for yourself.
Vogue just posted an article saying having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I think for men, this is a wake-up call. To the smart, independent woman, good salary, nice place, we provide no benefit. We are no longer the priority. In fact, we're probably a burden to them. We need to realize having a girlfriend is a privilege, and our duty is to raise them up and make them the most successful version of themselves. That might mean doing the laundry and picking up the dishes. It might mean working harder to support them so they can go back to school. It might mean just focusing on ourselves more to be the best versions of ourselves, to inspire them to want to do the same. I think a healthy relationship involves both people raising each other up to be the best versions of themselves and doing whatever they can to support that person to be able to do that. Right now, I don't think men are doing that. I think men don't really provide a benefit. We need to figure out how to provide that benefit so we are no longer embarrassing.
All right, so I played that clip there, right? So this guy, I don't know if he read this article by Vogue. I don't know if he read the article or not, but I read it. I'm sorry that I did. I mean, but you have to take some of this stuff seriously because, if people are jealous, this to me comes from a very schizophrenic type of thinking, where you're trying to have the best of both worlds. You want to be strong, independent, don't need a man, so therefore you're not going to post them. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. If you are cropping me out of photos, or blurring me out of wedding pictures, as was discussed in the article. I don't know if the guy read it. But yeah, I mean, it's over, right? So you got to either want to be in this thing or not. Make up your mind. Shoot, I forgot something at home. Dang it. Dang it. So yeah, so this is what it's come down to, right? And this guy is I don't know if this guy read the article, but he was kind of internalizing it in a way that I don't think that the article was meant. The article was saying that, was talking about a couple of different um, why women are cropping people out of photos and not speaking about things. Social media is people are being unfollowed on social media because of their newfound relationship status, in particular women. Meanwhile, the women who are talking about this type of thing have boyfriends or are partnered up. Just absolute schizophrenic type of bifurcated, Gemini type of thinking. uh, so, so yeah, what's going on about that? So this dude, the video that I played there, right? This guy, he's talking about it from the lens of, oh, we got to do better. We got to make these women proud. And this, listen, I mean, his simp button is broken. He's on fleek. I mean, he's just, dude, come on, man. You got to stop kowtowing to these ladies. Stop trying to please them at every single turn. Stop thinking that they're the bee's knees all the time. Listen, you got to be the best version of yourself for you. And if a woman doesn't recognize your worth, your value, and wants to crop you out of photos and not discuss you and think that she's got to hide you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or that you embarrass her, that's her issue. Now, you shouldn't be embarrassing from any particular lens. You shouldn't be embarrassing from any particular lens. True, but you gotta. But this idea that women, it's just okay for women to have leveled up and become these boss chicks, and now they don't need a man, or if they do have one, they gotta hide him because he is embarrassing, or because he's not on their level. I don't know what is going on in these people's heads. Whatever has happened has become a disease. Whatever has happened has become a disease. It is a bacterial, viral, similar to a bacterial and viral infection that is just spreading like wildfire. People are so convinced about the way that they're living. They're so convinced about the way that they're moving. So highly suggestible. So highly so highly suggestible that they are, you know, that they're willing to follow anyone at any time, thinking it's them. Sometimes, this is the problem. This is the problem with social media. You got to cut it back. You got to cut it back so much, because you'll end up thinking that the world's problems are your problems. If you're that highly suggestible, it's probably a better way to phrase this, but I didn't look it up. I'm kind of going off the top of the dome here. If you're that suggestible, and I'm talking about, your ability to be swayed, maneuvered, out-talked, psychologically, available to other people. I'm sure that there's more technical language I could use about this, but if you can be convinced and you think that somebody else's problem is your problem, right? This is why we talk about marriage, divorce being contagious, right? Because you think, ladies in particular are more suggestible like that. They're right. They're more susceptible to falling for these types of schemes and okie dokes and all this type of stuff, right? So you gotta watch that. You gotta watch that about who you're following, what you're listening to, how often you're listening to it. Sometimes you gotta take these long extended breaks on social media, and sometimes you gotta get away from that. And here's one thing I'm really considering, right? I've talked already about kind of backing off of this, and I have changed a lot of my algorithms. Right, my Instagram is almost totally different off of except for this guy who just popped up there. But this whole thing, man. If you're in a relationship and you're happy in your relationship, let me say this loudly and clearly so the people in the back can really get this. If you're in a relationship and you're happy in a relationship, I really think you ought to stop consuming this type of information, because it is going to harm you. You're going to think that their problem is your problems. You're going to think that there's something that you're missing, the fear of missing out. You're going to think that you're somehow lacking. Why am I, as a man, just hypothetically, why doesn't my wife serve me dinner? Maybe I should be getting this. Maybe I should be getting back rubs, foot rubs. Maybe I shouldn't be helping out too much. Or if you're a woman, how come I don't get flowers once a week? How come this? How come that? Meanwhile, before you heard all this stuff, you're already happy, already content. But now you're listening to this content, and now you're going down that path, down that avenue. I'm telling you right now. And I talked to Anita about this, right? And she even said it, right? When you get to this point where you're in a relationship, you're married happily, even a long-term partner-up relationship, you need to get off of that, because it'll end up infecting how you think. And you'll think you're missing out and thinking your husband is somehow subpar, your boyfriend is not making it, your girlfriend is now lackadaisical, I could do better. And you're already happy. You need to watch what you consume, watch what you think, watch how you're moving in the world. I should have went to the other one. I'm here now. So you got to watch that, man. You got to watch the company that you keep, the content that you consume, the food that you consume, the air that you breathe. I'm talking about by that I mean the atmosphere, the environment, the ethos, who you're around, who you're surrounded by, just their mere presence and energy that's being given off. So you got to watch all that. So this becomes problematic. So again, listen, I definitely think that you should not be embarrassing as a spouse or boyfriend or partner in a relationship, whatever you want to call it. But whatever you want to call it, but you gotta be in this place, in this frame of thinking that, forget them. I'm not going to be cropped out of pictures and blurred out and this and that and trying to hide me because of some social media trend, or because you think it's somehow embarrassing, or whatever it's going on in people's heads. I read through the article. There's so many different reasons for people blurring out people's pictures. It wasn't just like one thing. It was a bunch of different things. So they can't really put a picture on it, or put a finger on it. Is it because people are don't want to show off their boyfriend? Is it because people want to have a boyfriend, but maybe it's not the right one, and maybe they think they could do better, or they get criticized because the guy isn't, the woman thinks she's up here and she's dating somebody below them, so they don't. There's a whole bunch of different dynamics behind this. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna live in nobody's shadow. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna live in nobody's shadow. I'm not gonna live as if you feel as if you can do better. You feel as if I'm dragging you down. I'm not living like that. You need to go on with somebody else. You need to have enough self-esteem, self-respect for yourself to know what you can and cannot do, and what you do and do not bring to the table, and mate, date, marry within your bracket, age range, and socioeconomic status, and someone you can be proud of. Well, why are you gonna not to be graphic and all, why are you gonna spread your legs for somebody, or enter in a bedroom or be with somebody who's embarrassing you, right? Just wild thinking out here. Wild thinking out here. So I just want to drop this one real quick, right? So don't be, if you've got a situation going on, you're not really proud of it, get out of that situation. Why would you put somebody else through that? Number one. Number two, if you notice yourself being cropped out of photos, and she don't want you around her friends, or she don't want you around in her company, and this, that, and all the other kind of nonsensical garbage that's going on out here, right? If all that is going on, and you know what's going on, shame on you for tolerating that, for putting up with that, for being a part of that. Have enough self-respect amongst yourself to be and do and who you need to be, do what you need to do. So have some self-respect, and don't fall for this kind of crazy nonsense, right? So I just want to drop this one real quick. No, sir, you were embarrassing yourself. That to this guy who made the video, you were embarrassing yourself. Yeah, we've always talked about men doing better, but I'm not gonna do better because I think that she's embarrassing me because I don't make enough. Nah, brother, nah. You're embarrassing yourself. You embarrass yourself by making that. You need to level up. Worry about yourself, brother. Right? So, hit me in the comments.